We're starting off high.
We can get
I think
two fools agree on that one. Oh, by the way, look, we got the wide shot.
You had accountability. Now, what I can...
Now all you need is a podcast and a YouTube channel.
No, not even.
Where, give me the money. Show me the money.
Apparently there's a Foolproof page.
Shoot the J. Shoot it. Live on Facebook.com/Foolproof Entertainment Network. I need you on Twitter. I need you to repost the Facebook pages.
To raise a human before I would
trust a human to raise back wolves.
Before I would trust a pack of humans to raise wolves.
Right. I hear you. Yo, what up, fools? Welcome to another edition of Do Fools Agree. As always, I'm your host, Michael Reggie, here with my main man, Clifford Jordan Jennings.
What's happening?
We finally got that back on point. Man, this is the second time I've gotten this low systems resources shit just as we're starting. That is some bullshit.
What's that mean?
Oh, it just means that it's has the potential to run slow, so I gotta remember to...
Okay, yeah, because last time it was skipping a little bit.
It did. It wasn't as bad when I listened back to it as it sounded live, but it's still annoying. All right, I'm gonna see if I can... All right.
I mean, it doesn't seem like it's skipping right now.
I just hid the background, so you know that like animated background that we have going on. I hid that layer, and hopefully that keeps it clean for us.
Yeah, shit.
So I should have thought of that last week, but you know. All right, what's going on, sir? It's been a week.
It's been a week. I don't know how eventful the week was, but it's been a week.
I mean, it was real eventful if you want to go back on the politics train, but I don't think we want to do that tonight.
I mean, what was the events? We could fire them off quick.
I mean, really, it was Trump's cabinet picks that are off the fucking wall.
Oh, yeah, I did hear a couple things about that.
Elon and Vivek running the government office of efficiency or some bullshit. My boy RFK to lead the FDA or to lead the Department of Home and Health Services.
And I liked his message to them, too.
Yeah, I mean, honestly, I personally do not align with all of his views on like vaccines and that kind of shit, but he flat out said like, I'm not coming for anybody's vaccine, but I am going to get Big Pharma out of the FDA. And again, I go back to our conversation last week where, you know, if this Trump presidency blows up, you know, some of the over bureaucratic and overinflated and corporate controlled bureaucracy within the federal government, it's not all bad. Now, if he does that and then, you know, stages a coup, that's a problem. And you can argue whether or not that was his intent on January 6th. The other thing is he's basically trying to get lifetime military personnel out of the military. And he is that one scares me because
I don't know what does that mean. I don't even know what that means.
So basically, he's trying to put the tops of the U.S. military as only loyalists to him. Is what the media is saying.
You can't trust
a
lot of that, though.
I agree, but I also that would fit the bill with him. So, you know, hopefully we've got enough checks and balances in place where, you know, he can't just exit a bunch of generals that he doesn't like because they don't agree with him.
Okay, I see. I see what your concern is.
Yeah. Because then you start getting into the conversation of, all right, so when he tells them to go after U.S. civilians, what are they going to do?
Right.
Because their oath is to the Constitution, not to the commander-in-chief.
But what's that even mean anymore?
Well, supposedly it's to protect the people, but to your point,
right.
It's a fair
They
call
haven't
out.
been following it to begin with. So it's like I'm not saying what does it mean like we don't need it, but if we of the people, like I said, we the people, if we don't put belt to ass for you breaking rules,
right?
what are you worried
Right.
about
Well, at
it
that
for?
point, yeah. What are yeah? No, I
Because
I hear
clearly
you.
they're not gonna, nobody in there is gonna check or balance anyone else. Then it becomes the people's job.
Right. Well, and that was the whole principle behind the revolution in the first place, wasn't it?
Okay, cyclical.
Taxation without representation and all that. Meanwhile, we're being taxed out the ass, and corporations are the ones that are buying our representation.
Right.
And a corporation is not a person.
So you can't catch a body.
I mean, you could take out
You
a
know what I'm
whole
saying?
board of directors, I guess.
I'm just saying,
but then
if
they would just be
people rights,
replaced.
but they're not actual people, then you don't get murder. You know what I'm saying?
Now, here's another one that,
But how do you get rid of them without getting a whole nother litany of charges? You know what I'm saying?
Right.
That equal up to that murder. Now you back in the same boat.
Well, and kind of circling back, like government accountability. If Elon and, I couldn't stand anytime I heard Ramaswamy talk, but that's just
mind him.
He's just a dude that I don't like. I really don't have any specific things I don't like about him. He's one of those guys that has a very punchable face. And I feel the same way about Elon. But if Elon and Vivek manage to put the government on blockchain so that we have more oversight on them, again, I'm trying to give the benefit of the doubt and remain hopeful about this.
Right.
And that was actually the message that I heard from Charlemagne. I guess he's a Daily Show correspondent too.
Yeah, sometimes.
That was kind of
when John's out.
Yeah.
So I think they're trying to ease him into it more.
Well, I saw a clip with him earlier, and he was basically like, I don't necessarily want to wish ill on him. I want us all to do better.
Right.
That's my hope. I mean, for as skeezy and everything as I feel Trump is, and how I think he is not a good person, and he certainly, not that this is a problem, but he's certainly not a Christian. So it's the hypocrisy of him pretending to be that I don't like. But if in doing his shakeup, again, he gets rid of some bureaucracy, he streamlines things. As long as it's not all going to go to him forever, I'm okay with that.
Right.
So.
Yeah, I don't know. That's enough, though.
That's fair. You got any inadvertence to get us going?
I don't have any inadverts so much as I have
observations.
Right. And I don't know if it's just geared to me, because I know that your phone does that, right?
Yeah.
But do you remember, I don't know, it's been going on for probably about a year and a half now. They came out with them AI videos that would pop up in between your feeds on Instagram or YouTube, trying to get you to take out a loan.
Oh, I don't remember seeing ones about loans, but I believe you. I've seen the deep fake ones doing loans and that kind of shit.
Well, I mean, that's essentially what it is. You know what
Okay.
I'm saying? And I guess it didn't work, right? I guess it didn't work. Because now all I got is like black folks. Like, you gonna let these other motherfuckers get their money and you ain't gonna get, you know, shit like that. And I'm like, what in the fuck is going on here? Like, what's going on for real?
Well, the racists have won, Cliff, and they are only targeting you with those ads now.
It can't just be a me thing. I guarantee you, like, it's gonna be one of them things like 5, 10 years from now, people gonna say the same thing I'm saying right now, and it's gonna be just like that college commercial used to be where it was like, you ain't doing shit, get off your ass, go sign up for, you know what I'm saying? It's gonna be just like that, like you was getting them too.
Get your ass to Everest.
Man, these niggas, and I guess what I'm saying is not that it would have ever, like, that's not going to entice me. First of all, who got their money first? You know what I'm saying?
Right.
Until somebody I know comes to me and is like, hey, you hear about that little, what's the name of that? I'm waiting, I'm going to see what happens.
I mean, honestly, Cliff,
maybe I get it.
All it is the new generation of payday loans. Like, that's all it is.
And that's treacherous, right? Because
right,
it's not even
because those were done away with for a reason.
And now they got AI and a whole, but I wonder if it why like right, who is your target? Who is your target? You know what I'm saying?
Right. Well, I mean, honestly,
like, is it a poor white dude that gets him with a white dude with a Confederate flag shirt? Like, hey, you know that everybody's getting money, brother. Go get yours right now. You know, like, how is it working?
I'm sure it is. Well, dude, and I will tell you, I worked on one of the first, like, web banner campaigns, and this was, 10, 15 years ago now. That there were 7 different models. This was for Pantene. There were 7 different models with like 60 different options for the text that was on the banner. And it would optimize against the user based on data that had been collected about the user. So for people of color, like, it was the Relaxed and Natural collection. For Latinos, it was the medium to thick collection with Ava Mendez on the front. For your generic white girl, it was Naomi Watts and the fine hair collection. I honestly can't even remember what she was in at this point, but she's an actress. For the emo crowd or the alt crowd, it was the colored hair protection. Like, and it optimized against that, and you got the best ad that made the most sense for you until you clicked.
Right.
You'd get the same model. Once we locked in on the model and we could tell you looked at the ad based on tracking or you hovered over it or whatever, we would change the copy on the ad until you clicked on it.
Right.
And now you combine that with AI and can create videos that interrupt whatever the fuck you're watching. No doubt. I mean, like I said, we had the technology to do it with a static image 10, 15 years ago. And that was, in the advertising space, which that's where all that shit originates anyways. But now you can do it cheap and quick with AI and deepfake and whatever else, man. And I'm sure you can feed it into a generator that's just like, give me a video of Joe Rogan talking about this.
Right, $3,500.
And this call to action. No doubt, man.
These motherfuckers is treacherous. Like, they ain't playing fair. That's all I got to say.
No, of course
they
not.
Ain't playing fair. What do you do? What do you do? Man, I'm trying to tell you, this world is not the world, but
no,
you know
you're
what
right.
I'm saying.
You said it right the first time. So my inadvertent was actually based on something that I heard from somebody today. She had gotten her niece a Tamagotchi.
What?
A Tamagotchi, and I was like,
I remember them.
wait, those are back? It's not just an app on your phone? She's like, no, they sell the Tamagotchis. And so that got me thinking, what is another 90s toy that's due for a comeback? Like the one that never should have left and it was gone for a little while but has come back again are like Super Soaker water guns. Because for a while, all you could find were those ones that you just like, it sprays as you pump, and you couldn't find the pressurized ones that look like you jacking somebody off as I was watching myself on video before you pull the trigger.
You ain't wrong, man.
I had
you ain't right either. I bumped too quick. You You gotta long stroke it to the point that it goes. You know what I'm saying? That's how you knew you was gonna hit somebody.
And then
I didn't mind where it was at.
I remember I had the what was it, like the XP 1500. The fucking tank was like this big. That shit had some pressure. I've also seen some ones on the TikTok shop because that's how I entertain myself these days. Like automatic water pistols.
Yeah, that shoot like little spurts. Like them is kind of hot.
I almost picked one up. I'm not gonna lie.
Listen, I seen it too. I was like, do I need one of them?
The thing is, that shit'll stop working in like after the first time you use it.
Right.
You get halfway through the first water fight with it, and is done. I'm out.
Right. You better have a backup pistol.
Right. One of them little noisy crickets.
But they you don't see that anymore. That's why.
That's because kids don't play outside anymore.
I mean, but it's almost to a point for real where it's like, can they?
You mean in terms of just like safety being outside?
Right.
I hear you.
So shit. I get it.
Nah. So what else?
I'm trying to think.
Like Nerf guns never went away. Those are still good.
Yeah, those are still in. They're not as in as they were,
but they're still in.
They are still in.
Even my kiddo's school does like over the winter they'll like set up kind of like battleground courses in one of the school gyms, and kids can go in there and have like Nerf battles or whatever.
Oh, for real?
Yeah.
That's what's up.
What else?
Damn.
The Reed's in the chat saying Furby. No, Furby does not need to make a comeback.
I don't think anybody was on Furby.
I mean, honestly, they'd almost be real now. You put some AI in that shit.
Nah, I ain't listen.
They have those AI companion apps that you can put on your phone. Put one of those in a Furby, it's over.
Nah, I think. See, if I walked in on my child talking to a toy like that, I would have a problem with it. You know what I'm saying? Like, I don't care if you gave it a name and it's your friend. I gotta kill it.
I gotta cut its head off.
Now it knows too much. It's done for. And you did this. I'm gonna run back in the room, holding it by its little furry head, this head only, wires hanging out. You did this.
Oh man. Honestly, I think
no, I couldn't have that in my house. No, because that's that is making a child so socially weird. It's ridiculous.
Yeah.
First of all, you just took away imagination altogether, because now it's actualization. You know what I'm saying? They're actually talking to this.
Well, and it's interesting you say that, because again, another social media ad, because I'm trying to think what to get my niece, and then one of my lady friends' nieces, and I saw this thing for like a projector sketch thing, where basically it projects an image and it lets you do like you can sketch over top of it, basically over the image that's projected. And I was like, that seems really cool, but again, it kills creativity because then you're just drawing what they gave you, and you're not drawing your like own thing. You know what I mean?
So wait, you can't sketch like your own picture?
No, you can, but the whole point of it is that it's a projector that projects down on the piece of paper so that you can kind of trace and sketch.
Oh, I see what you're saying.
Yeah. And I mean, you can upload, or you can do like, you can take photos of things, and that part of it was what caught my eye, and then like sketch out the photo. But to the point of we don't have creativity, and honestly, that's, my mom makes the joke about
it's participation trophies.
It is, but beyond that, like my mom makes the joke about like my creative writing when I was younger. It wasn't that creative. But like, I don't know that I've seen my son do anything creative.
That's
interesting.
Interesting.
I've been thinking about like, all right, what can we do? And it doesn't have to be creative in the traditional sense, like artwork, but like, how do you encourage like storytelling even, or
right?
Yeah, I don't know. So I've been trying to think about that one.
Yeah, that's interesting. I never really thought about it. Me and Karma used to paint.
Yeah.
She likes to paint now, but
that's good.
I don't. Yeah, other than that, I guess I understand what you're saying.
Well, and I mean, for Andrew, it's been like, I also try to look at it so that like he does play with Legos. Like that's one of the few toys that he will actually sit down and play with. Now, he has to be stripped of video games before that'll happen, but he will do Legos. And even something like, and I think we've talked about this in the past, like Minecraft for him is creative. Like he can go in and like build stuff in that. And
yeah, I agree.
So,
I definitely agree. And it's a form of creativity that I guess not. No. I guess that talk is over. Like that, that form of creativity is going to be what's prevalent in the future.
Right.
You know what I'm saying?
Right.
But when they have computers and AIs do it it's
for
no
them,
room
then it's not their creation. And I mean, here's the flip side. And I know that this was a big part of the battle in Hollywood about the use of AI. But like, even feeding details and prompts to an AI and having the AI write like the first draft of a story. Like, okay, like I don't know. I've got mixed feelings on it because all it's going to do is make a work that is similar to other works, right?
I'm telling you, it's participation trophies.
Yeah. No, I think that's fair.
It is, because I can't draw, but I see everybody else drawing and I see all these beautiful pictures and I just want to draw so bad. I'll buy a projector that'll put the image over the picture so I can draw it that way.
Yeah.
You feel what I'm saying?
No, I hear you.
When back in the day, like before all that took place, if you didn't draw, you didn't draw.
Right.
It's not for you. That's okay.
Yeah.
Something else you're better than that person is at.
Right.
But now that we got these participation trophies, everybody feels like they should have to be involved.
Well, and that kind of goes back
to... It's not fair that you have that talent and I don't, but I want to still be involved. So how can I do it?
Well, and to your point, like that's the exact same thing that I complained about during flag football this season. There were 3 kids that had no business being anywhere on an athletic field. And they're young, and they deserve the opportunity to try and figure out for themselves that they're not good, but still.
Or you don't know that, turnarounds happen.
That's true, and like when you're young, sometimes you're just not grown into your body. Like I get it.
My brother is the perfect example because he wasn't. He was a bloomer.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? That wasn't him all throughout.
Right.
Now, I wouldn't also say that, he didn't have any business being out there. That's, a little different. But in order to get better, you got to be around it, even if you ain't getting the time to actually, compete.
Yeah. Well, and it's funny, like, so A-Reg has been sick this week or the last week and a half or whatever, and took him to the doctor last week. That kid, 4th grade, 5'2", $180.
He's gonna be a big dude, man. He's gonna be a big dude for sure.
Man. I just hope he gets a little more than a foot still to go in terms of the height, but
oh yeah, he's gonna have to. I think he will though.
I do too.
He's already like that. He's already like that.
Yeah. Well, and again, like, does he have a little bit of a belly? Yeah, but he also is he's thick. He's thick like I am.
But
like,
that's
wide.
fine though. Right, that's fine though, because like you said, you got to think he hadn't even hit puberty yet. Like
Right.
You haven't started actually growing. So all that grows up and you end up being the form that you should be, and then you just got to tighten it up or put on muscle if you want to.
And that was my whole thing. Like, if you go back, and the only pictures I have growing up are sports pictures, and a lot of them were baseball, especially from like 3rd grade to 8th grade. And the difference in just my overall body from like age 10 to 13 is incredible.
Right.
And
so I'm sure he'll have the same.
It's gonna be interesting to watch him grow, man.
All right.
And he's starting to, how I've given the talk like he doesn't like to work. He's starting to.
Right.
He's starting to. It's not necessarily the stuff I want him to work on. Like, I wish he would take to doing the weights more. But like, we just started basketball season and he asked to go outside and like do drills, not even just shoot around, like work drills.
Right.
And I was like, all right, I can get behind that. I can forego the weights if that's going to be your approach.
Right.
So I'm excited.
That's what's up.
Yeah.
He's smart too, though. You think it's a situation where he prefers that over the weight?
So definitely.
Like, he gonna be on my ass about doing something. Maybe if I do this, he'll let me slide up.
Yep. That's exactly what it is. I know it.
You gotta take take what you can get.
But my whole thing is, I don't necessarily care what it is as long as we're getting out and doing something for half hour, 45 minutes.
Right.
Like, if it's raining and it's cold outside, yes, I'd rather do the weights inside. But I mean, even we went out, what was it, yesterday, where it was like drizzling all night?
Right.
We went out to an outdoor court and shot around.
That's what's up.
So
that's what's up.
It was good. All right, man, what else you got? Or do you want to jump into the main topic?
Let's jump into it.
So our boys, back at it again. Let me make sure I get the names right. Tim Gallaudet and Lou Elizondo.
Who's that?
So Lou Elizondo is probably one of the biggest names in like this from a legitimacy standpoint. He is a former official with the Department of Defense. And he is one of like the big whistleblowers on UAPs about how there is a huge database of UFO activity from around the world that the government is in possession of. And he has insight into this because of his role within the DOD and then other roles that he's had kind of throughout his career. Similarly, Tim Gallaudet was, I think he was a Navy pilot, and he was part of like the Navy safety committee around for pilots.
Mm.
And so they testified in front of Congress and flat out said that there are people within our government that have knowledge and materials from a crash retrieval program, that they have biologics from crashes, meaning they have bodies of non-human intelligence or non-human origin. And on top of that, basically confirmed everything that's been talked about over the last 2 years around the amount of UFO activity or UAP activity over secure airspace, secure facilities, nuclear sites, energy sites, etc. And that they doubled down on, I think the line he said was, if this is a foreign entity, the lack of preparedness would be an order of magnitude bigger than 9/11. Meaning that if it was a foreign entity that's controlling these things or flying these things, or if they're drones, whatever the case is, we're fucked and we have no way to defend against it. Same goes if it's a non-human intelligence as well, but at that point, that's an unknown that you're competing with, and
Right.
that's a little more understandable than if it were to be, a foreign adversary. And so they doubled down on that. They talked a lot about basically, I can't remember the acronym. So UAP is something in the air, and I think it's a USO. They don't have it in this article, but basically the undersea ones. And they have seen, like, the comment the congresswoman made was, we've only explored 5% of our ocean. These could all be coming from the ocean and we'd never know it.
Right.
Because they have video of these things going into the water, coming out of the water, like, unaffected.
Right.
And so, a lot of it is the same. It was a fairly amount, sounded similar to the last hearing like a year ago, I think. I can't remember if it was 6 months ago or a year ago. But what was interesting this time is that a lot of major news organizations picked it up this time where they didn't last time. Like, you could not find an article on it the last time this happened. Now, that right there gives me some pause, because it starts to lean towards what you and I have talked about in the past around something like Project Bluebeam.
Right.
And that the reason the other media companies are picking up on it is specifically to tee us up for something like that. And so for our listeners who are not familiar with Bluebeam, Project Bluebeam is basically that a government, theoretically maybe a world government, would stage an alien invasion just basically to bring us all under one world government. To what end? That's always been my question, other than control, but control to do what? I don't know.
I mean, you never know. Like I said, these motherfuckers are devious.
No doubt.
These motherfuckers are devious. I wonder if that goes with what the ninjas or butterflies episode, what they were saying.
So talk to me about the part that you were interested in that conversation, because I listened to a good 30-minute segment around this stuff, and there wasn't anything that totally jumped out at me.
They started off talking about that Miami mall shit, the shit that took place.
Right.
And then he jumped to, shout out to the ninjas or butterflies, by the way.
Which, by the way, I don't know that I've ever connected. Like, I see their videos on TikTok all the time. This was the first time that I think I saw a picture of them, like, with the podcast art, and I was like, oh shit, those are the same, those are those dudes.
For real? You didn't know that was the...
I just wasn't connecting the dots for whatever reason.
See, I was in reverse, where I had already known the podcast, then I saw the videos, and I was like, oh, okay. They coming up.
Yeah, no doubt.
But
I
he
want
was
their
saying that
social media manager.
you hear me? Nah, I don't need that anyway. I'll be too low. Yeah, I'll
No,
be too low.
but if again, we've talked about this. If I could pay some, actually, I'm sure there are AI tools out there that can go through and edit or cut down and come out with clips for our videos. So I'll have to look into that. Supposedly, Spotify does that for you as part of like doing Spotify for podcasters. I don't know. I have to find that.
You know, I don't know nothing about it.
So I'm gonna research that.
But dude said it was a dude back in 2009 that had a computer that he put the prediction into, and he said that.
December 3rd, Cliff.
Right, that's what they said,
I
right?
figured
And
this
for
is
the
what it was.
listeners, they said a dude put a prediction into a computer, and it came out with a trigger, and they said once the trigger takes place, 30 days or something like that.
Yep.
From when the trigger takes place, he saw
basically a
like
war in the sky.
spaceships, right?
Yeah.
A war in the sky, UFOs attacking people and other UFOs attacking the UFOs. And I said, you know what, okay, so there's two ways to think about that, right?
One, this motherfucker's from the future, and the computer program's all bullshit.
I mean, that could be, and that's the best way to, make it palatable for somebody else to understand. Ain't that some shit? We would trust that it was a supercomputer in 2009 that can throw up predictions. But I guess that would also explain The Simpsons.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? So maybe it tracks. But we would trust the supercomputer over somebody that truly was like, yeah, I did. I came back in time. Because it sounds crazy, right? But
right.
If that comes to pass, God forbid, if that comes to pass, your immediate thought would be, yeah, that computer's right, and that nigga needs to be locked up in an insane asylum.
Well, no doubt, but here's the flip side where my head went about it, because what was the trigger?
Joe Rogan and Donald Trump.
Interviewing Donald Trump, right?
Mm-hmm.
So let's put all the pieces together and go true conspiracy here.
Mm-hmm.
Elon Musk and SpaceX, Starlink, now part of Trump's administration, or trying to be part of Trump's administration. It was based on Donald Trump.
What was based on Donald Trump?
Well, the trigger was, right?
Right.
So put those two things together, and then all the fear about Trump staging a coup. His coup is using Starlink from Elon Musk to stage all this shit. Like, I wouldn't be surprised to find out Musk actually owns the computer technology that we're talking about, this software stuff.
From 2009?
Yep. Because that's what he does, dude. He's not that smart. He just buys everybody that is smart, or buys all of their intellectual property.
Right.
He is the Urban Meyer of technology. He ain't good at what he does, but he does a good job of threatening people to get him to do what he wants.
Is that right?
Mm-hmm.
I mean, I don't know. I'm not the biggest Elon Musk fan. It's something about him.
I'm with you. But I don't trust any of the big tech boys. I don't trust him. I don't trust Zuckerberg. I don't trust Bezos. I don't trust Gates. And honestly, I probably trust Gates more than all of them.
I don't think so. Oh yeah, I just don't trust any of them.
Well, no doubt. But think about that. If you want to follow the breadcrumbs around the chemtrails, putting enough particles in the sky that you could project an image, what better way to project that image than from the Starlink satellites?
Right. Right.
And he's going to be behind it. That's my real fear with Elon being that close to the seat of power. They can pull some of this shit off now.
And then come the robots.
Right. Well, and again, I guess my forever point here is to what end? Like what purpose would that control serve? Like, are they gonna enslave people and put them back to work in fields? Like, we can do a lot of that stuff with automated technology now. So, like, that's where, like, Project Bluebeam to me just doesn't. Again, it's to what end? Like, to give up your rights, but again, to what end?
And I don't think that if that was the case, and it sounds like a good idea, don't get me wrong, but if that was the case, would now be the best? Could you pull that off is what I'm getting at? A one world government right now, tensions high with everyone.
Where nobody's happy with anything.
Yeah, I think you would need time. Like Trump, if that was the end game, you would need 3 of your 4 years in office to only focus on common, tensions between everyone before you can implement.
Well, I guess it depends. I guess it depends on who's behind it, and if there are existing are there existing countries behind it? Like, okay, Trump's back in office, so is it us, Russia, North Korea taking over the rest of the world? Do those become our allies?
That's interesting.
Talk about a swerve, man. That's some WWE Hulk Hogan dropping the leg on Randy Macho Man Savage type shit. Flashing out the INWO.
Right.
Well, you know something, brother? These fans can stick it.
That wasn't a bad Hulkster. That wasn't a bad Hulkster. Yeah, I mean that would the plot in the plot.
Wouldn't that be the plot thickens, right? WWE style swerve. Fuck Europe. We're with Russia on this shit.
And the plot thickens. I mean, I don't know how I feel about that, to be honest. It depends on what you planned on doing with the people, But I'm not that upset with Putin.
Hey, give me 1 second, man. Sorry.
Yeah. I mean, of course, I'm not with the whole, war, but, he has his reasons. That's not my business. I don't know what that's about. But as far as, the country itself seems pretty, kept for the most part. Everybody has its slums, rough areas. That's going to be everywhere. But now, I don't know nothing about what's going on up in North Korea, though. That's that's not there. I don't know about that, but nah, because I couldn't see either Putin or Trump forcing Kim Jong to change it. That motherfucker got citizens of North Korea thinking he dunked from the free throw line. You know what I'm saying? Thinking he won the 80 whatever dunk contest. That motherfucker, he got motherfuckers in North Korea thinking he got a green jacket. You hear what I'm saying?
I hear you. I have no idea what you're saying.
I was basically saying, for the most part, I don't agree with the war, but they got their own thing going on. It's none of my business. You know what I'm saying? They know more about those reasons than I would.
Are we talking about the war in Ukraine?
Right. But I was saying for the most part, seems like Putin's kind of taking care of the people there, though. You know what I'm saying? For the most part.
I guess. Again, it's whatever you see on the media, dude, because you don't, to your point, like, I don't know what's actually going on.
No, nobody does. But I've seen, videos. People posted those videos of how much it costs, the ingredients and shit, all kinds of stuff like that. And we all saw the Tucker Carlson.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? How much groceries did the nigga buy with that little bit of cash that he had?
Right.
Putin said you ain't bringing that nonsense, bullshit, poison shit into my country. My people ain't eating that.
Right.
That's care in itself. You know what I'm saying? But then you look at a spot like North Korea and Kim Jong telling these motherfuckers he lifted 1,000 pounds and he did. You know what I'm saying? Like he got them brainwashed and malnourished up there.
Yeah. Well, and the Reach chiming in with what about China? But you put Russia, the U.S., North Korea, China allied at that point? If we're doing hypotheticals here?
Yeah, I feel like China, in order to pull all that off, China would have to be included in one way or another.
Well, and maybe China's the ringleader, or the powers that be rest with China. I don't know. But then you're looking at, like, who could compete with if that was...
There is no competition.
Right.
There is no competition. But even still, you know how that goes. You know what I'm saying? Like, I can't see. They may have thought that would have been a good idea, right? And it sounds good on paper.
Well, is that the only way that basically the U.S. can clear its debts? Because, like, the single largest debt holder of, like, U.S. debt is China, isn't it?
Mm-hmm. Yep, for sure. But my whole thing about it is, even if that was, a goal that we can knock this out if we do that as well. It sounds like a good idea on paper, but every group, clique, whatever you want to call it, that has, a plan, scheme, whatever, there's always somebody with other intentions.
Oh, no doubt.
There's always at least one other person in there that has separate intentions than the other folks. And when we dealing with big money, control, stuff like that, we'll find out who the other guy is early.
Right.
That one world government won't be for long.
No. Well, and that's the other side of it, is somebody will feel like they're not getting their fair share.
Right.
And it collapses at that point.
Right.
And I don't think we're to the point of resource wars yet. But who knows?
I mean, we're definitely getting there.
I mean, depending who you believe, that's the reason for the natural disasters in the Carolinas and even
what, the lithium deposits?
Maui, yeah. Meanwhile, there's all sorts of nickel and lithium on the ocean floor and the little nodules.
But that's been going on since, like the industrial ages.
Oh, yeah.
So that's nothing new.
I mean, it all started with gold when the aliens wanted us to dig gold for them, so. It's the only way to save Nibiru, Cliff.
What was that, 49 and 76?
Something like that.
They need to give us a 2024, 25, you know what I'm saying? Because if that's who they wanted us to dig it for, clearly some of them was like, go ahead and keep a little bit of that for yourself, for your troubles.
Right.
Niggas was coming up left and right off that shit. Then you got the Beverly Hillbillies with the oil. That's what it was. They was like, North Carolina, fuck no, we ain't letting the motherfuckers get rich. Burn it down. Flood it out. That's a shame. God bless them.
Yeah. I don't know, man. It is interesting though that the UAP. So circling back to the UAP topic. So let's say it's not Blue Beam. Is it? What's your favorite speculation on there? Like it being little green men, it being us from the future, it being some higher evolution of us that is just existing on a different plane.
Right. If it's not Blue Beam, like he said, it would have to be a combination of, right? Because if the prediction's correct and you have UFOs, UAPs, whatever they fucking call them now, if you have them attacking people and then other ones attacking them, it's almost like you do have a subset of little Marvin the Martians running around, little Mars attacks up in the air, and then you have something else out there as well that's like, wait.
Oh, you're talking about the prediction in the War in the Sky.
Right. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So, I don't know. I really don't know. I don't even know how that works. But it is very ironic that it's all coming to a head, like you said, with the conferences and the...
I mean, for a long time, the date was 2027. Like, there was going to be a mass event in 2027.
Mm-hmm.
And then recently, I've heard that pushed back to 2030. But 2027 is, like, the date. I mean, if you believe the projection that you were talking about, December 3rd this year is when all that shit goes down.
Right.
Maybe that's how they keep Trump out of office. They give wartime powers to Joe Biden.
That's interesting because I figured that something big would go down in between, now, the election and
his inauguration.
Right.
What if that's the coup? Is to keep him out? Although I did find it interesting that a number of like lifetime Republican Congress people have started like basically announcing retirements based on Trump winning, which again, not a bad thing.
Right.
Now, do I like the fact that it's a lot of the folks that are being elected to replace those folks are folks that I don't agree with? No, but new blood is not a bad thing. It's not inherently a bad thing. I'll put it that way.
Right. I feel like if you're going to be like a lifelong congressman.
No, it should be term limits.
No, definitely should be term limits. But if we going to do it like that, like you just get to get rich off of the backs of the poor and the struggling, then when it's your time to go, we got to go back to the Viking days and walk you off a cliff.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? You did your job. You benefited. You had your life to live. Ain't no riding off in the sunset after what you did, bruh.
Right.
Just walk off this here cliff.
Yep. I'm not opposed, but I'm a bigger fan of term limits, and I'm a bigger fan of...
Right, that would be a little more civilized. I'm trying to go back to the...
Well, and honestly, we've talked about this in the past. Set congressional salary at the median salary of their district.
Right.
Or their state, if they're a senator.
I agree with that.
That's all the money you're allowed to take home.
I definitely agree with that.
Right, because then only people who want to be there and aren't chasing money are there.
Right. Mm. I mean, if it makes sense, then we ain't on that track.
Right.
That's the track we own, baby.
No, so circling back to the question there, if the if it is non-human intelligence and it's not an attempt at a world coup,
It's the lizard people.
I have two competing ideas. One is it is an evolved form of humans that have either come back or they evolved. Maybe they're from before the extinction events that hit our planet.
Right.
Like maybe they're part of those ancient civilizations and we thought they were gone, but they weren't.
Right.
And they've evolved physically and technologically to points that we just don't understand.
Right.
Or
They said that could be the Greys.
right, especially the tall grays, right? Or the other one is it goes back to the Nibiru theory, and it's the ancient aliens that help form us. It's coming back into orbit, and they're getting close enough now that they're sending more scouts, more things to check out what's happened since the last time they were close enough.
That's wild. That's deep.
The best
That's
I got.
deep shit, though.
The Reach chiming in with it's the lizard people and Bigfoot. So there you go.
And Bigfoot, I don't know if it's well, you never know because Bob Lazar said that when he stepped into that craft, it was the size of a football stadium.
Where it was bigger on the inside than it was the outside.
Right. So you never know. It could be housing a whole gang of Bigfoots in there.
Big feet.
A whole bunch of feet big, and that motherfucker just waiting to come stomping out onto the land. I don't know, shit. If that was the case and all the sightings that you see of Bigfoot, what do you think he was coming back here to get?
Right.
Or is he the exiled foot?
He's the exile. He was
You know what I'm
he was
saying?
left
Like,
behind.
you gotta stay with them crazy motherfuckers, G, because you done on this stadium shit.
Fair. I also like the ancient aliens ones and linking it to the old gods. Whether it was Norse, whether it was Egyptian, even, Greek, Roman, whatever.
Maybe that's what it is.
It's the gods. It's the gods returning.
Mm-hmm. The so-called the fallen angels, so to speak.
Yeah.
And then if we were of each, God, it would make sense to see different ones in the sky fighting each other.
Yeah.
Because it's like, oh no, you ain't doing that to my people. You supposed to do that over there, but not over. So we go,
Shit. The black gods are coming for vengeance on the white gods.
Yeah.
The Egyptian gods are coming for the Norse gods. We're fucked.
Ah, shit. You better than me. You better than me. I just know motherfuckers didn't want us to know who we were, where we came from for a reason. So that might track.
Right.
That might track.
So the biggest thing coming out of the UAP hearings was they were very specific about a secret government project, Immaculate Constellation.
I think he said something about that
at the beginning, or I think last week.
Not last episode. Probably the one
ago.
where Tay was on.
Yeah. And so Immaculate Constellation is basically everything that people have been asking for around why are all the videos we have fuzzy and grainy? It's basically the high quality HD like version of
really?
those. And that there are better videos out there that they've managed to take and keep hidden.
I wouldn't doubt it.
No doubt.
I wouldn't doubt if the White House didn't have an underground facility that was just like the Men in Black.
Yeah.
You know, where they go to work, every day and down the elevator,
Take the elevator
and be like dapping up a nigga with a tentacle, like, glad to see you, ain't seen you since, 2016. You know what I'm saying?
Wow. What if Trump is the disclosure president?
He could be.
All these people that have like done everything to keep this hidden, and he says, "You know what? Greatest president. Aliens. Aliens are real."
Right.
Huge news.
Right.
Space Force actually run by aliens. Their idea. I was just big enough to do it. We don't talk about Space Force enough. I'm tired of hearing about the Army, the Marines, the Navy, the Air Force. What about Space Force?
I don't. Who heads that? I mean, I know that. Didn't it happen under the Trump regime?
It did.
The initial.
Yes, it did.
That's what I'm saying. He knows something.
He does. Him and Elon.
He knows something.
They are actually the aliens that are here.
Listen, and I'm just telling you right now, I bought this damn book for a reason. Now, have I started reading it yet? No, I have not. But I'm going to read it. I want to know if there's answers in here. You know what I'm saying?
I need you to read it and then highlight key passages that you're going to bring back to the podcast, because I might have to,
because there might be some foreshadowing in here.
Mm-hmm.
He was supposed to be a time traveler,
right?
And then I'm gonna find out he's upset because the nigga believed the supercomputer over him, and that was the whole point of the book. His revenge on the world for believing the supercomputer
instead of him
over the time traveler. Damn, Baron, if we'd only knew.
All right, so at this point, what's winning the what's that thing called, Polymarket? Is that the gambling thing that by the way, the owner of Polymarket got raided?
I didn't even know. I haven't heard of that.
Isn't Polymarket the big betting that was like the big election betting was through Polymarket?
See, I didn't know. I didn't have the details. I just knew that there was election betting, but I didn't know how to do it.
World's largest prediction engine. This is probably the system that you were talking about. Or it's run off of it.
Shit. It might be. They tried to take me out.
Let's see. Aliens. What does aliens come back with on Polymarket?
They said, these bastards getting too close. Choke him out.
3% chance that aliens confirmed to exist in 2024. I feel like that bet's already happened. They did. They confirmed it in the hearing this week.
I bet those odds are crazy. That's what. Listen, he rated himself.
Right.
He rated himself. He was like, "Oh my gosh, I'm gonna have to pay out on a 3%." You know what kind of odds that was? That was probably negative. It gotta be over 2,700.
Right.
3%.
Interesting.
He like, people coming up off this bet now as we speak.
This is an interesting website. I'm gonna have to poke around on here a little bit more.
Uh-oh.
Now I'm intrigued.
Uh-oh.
What do they have for the Bills? Chiefs here. Bills are the favorites, according to Polymarket.
Is that right?
Mm-hmm. Interesting. Anyways.
I mean, the Chiefs are banged up.
Well, and we know the Bills beat the Chiefs in the regular season so that the Chiefs can win in the playoffs. Fucking bullshit. Anyways, I don't know. All right, what else we got?
I don't know. What else do we got? Let me think.
Is it time to go watch the Tyson Paul fight? All right,
That's
let's
like
do that.
10,
Did you
21.
do that on Wednesday? Did you do that on Hit the Showers? Did you guys talk Tyson
Yeah, we
Paul?
talked a little bit about it. Not much, but
What's your opinion on the stipulations in the contract that Mike can't knock him out?
what?
Yep. I think
How do you do that?
I think Mike does it anyways.
Yeah, I don't think that you can control it. You can't control. That's not something you can just control.
Let's see. I'm gonna double check because this was something I saw online earlier, but I didn't validate.
Yeah, I think you gotta validate that. That's uncontrollable.
Mike Tyson allowed to knock out.
Because it's always the punches that you're not throwing like that. It's just the ones that so happen to land that put you down. So he could be taking something off of his punch and still hit him in the spot.
8 2-minute rounds and knockouts are allowed, contrary to rumors. All right, good deal, dude. I so fucking hope Mike knocks Jake out.
Right.
I so fucking like. I just want to see one of these Gen Z kids get their teeth cracked in.
Is he Gen Z?
Going after a Gen Xer. No, he's probably a millennial. He's probably a young millennial.
Well, he's what, 26 right now?
All right, so is Jake Paul a millennial or Gen Z? Oh, he's a Zennial, so he's born at the start of Gen Z. So yes, I would love to see Mike Tyson.
I mean, I don't
Jake
think
Paul
it would have mattered either way.
I would love to see Gen X Mike Tyson just knock the fuck out of Jake Paul.
I mean, I think it's going to be dangerous for him. I think it's honestly going to be dangerous for him. Like, I know he's old, don't get me wrong. But
if the fight goes past 4 rounds, Jake wins.
Right. Jake could end up edging it out. I actually think it may be longer than that.
Yeah?
It's
only an 8-round bout, though.
You said what?
It's only an 8-round bout, though.
Right. But I don't think Mike is gonna gas as quickly as people think.
No?
I really don't.
Okay. I mean, you're the boxing guy, so I trust your judgment.
I mean, no, all signs point to he will, with his age and all that, but I really don't think he will. He looks like he's in better shape. Well, it's not even a look. He is in better shape than he was when he had the Roy Jones fight.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? And although they weren't throwing the heaviest punches and it wasn't supposed to go to the head, Roy was dancing the entire fight.
Yeah.
And Mike didn't look like he was losing too much of a step throughout.
Fair.
So I know it's been 3-4 years, but you still have that confidence in you.
Yeah.
And when you're a killer like Mike, who was pretty conditioned when he...
That's crazy, though. His last fight was like 2003, wasn't it?
Like official?
Like 21 years ago?
His last official fight? I can't remember the date. But it would have been around that time, I suppose.
Last professional fight was in 2005, but he's competed in a series of exhibition fights.
Right.
with his
So
most recent
05?
being against Roy Jones Jr. in 2020.
Right.
So it hasn't
So
been
4 years
that long.
ago.
You know, the other one that I'm looking forward to, and I might have to see if I still have access to it, is the UFC fight tomorrow.
Oh yeah, John Jones and Stipe.
Stipe, yep.
Mm-hmm.
Like,
That's gonna be interesting. It might not be though.
yeah. Well, because Jones hasn't fought in like 18 months since he won the title, right?
Yeah, he's just. I don't know if it was that long, but I know it's been a year.
Yeah.
Stipe's been out for 2. I mean, it's gonna be interesting to see regardless, but I can see that one being a little one-sided as well. I really
Yeah,
feel like Stipe's only shot is catching him.
yeah.
And how many people have gone in thinking that they were going to catch John Jones
Right.
in
Well,
his career, and he hasn't lost.
it'll be interesting to see what the stamina is like, especially if it makes it to like beyond round 3.
Right.
Because I assume it's a 5-round title fight.
Yeah, I believe so.
Yeah. All right,
I believe
man.
so.
Got anything else you want to talk about?
No, nothing comes to mind.
All right. Well, we'll call this one a little bit early so we can, go get our meals or our beverages for the fight. But, all right. Well, you want to give your sign off?
I mean, love everybody.
Even the aliens.
Love everybody. I mean, you know how it goes. Defend yourself,
But
but love everybody. You know, you gotta love them till they give you a reason not to.
No doubt. All right.
And corporations aren't people.
Agreed. So you don't have to love them. Fuck them. Do us a favor. Like, share, subscribe. Tell a friend to tell a friend. Tell an enemy. Tell them to troll. And with all that, peace out, fool.